Good morning, everyone.
Yo.
We're here for our FY24 budget deliberations. It's August 1st, 2023. The time is 11 a.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Our first item is the FY24 preliminary balanced budget. And I will let our Finance Director, Brandy Falcon, start us off.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brandy Falcon for the record. Should be a pretty short meeting today. I'm just here to present the tentative balanced budget for fiscal year 24 for your approval so that we can proceed to publication in the newspaper. So right now we've balanced at a 3% tax increase. That includes, it's a culmination of all the requests that you've reviewed throughout the budget meetings thus far. We have included a mid-year wage changes pool of $420,000 after and I'll go ahead and ask Sylvia to come up if she's here. I wanted her to talk a little bit about some budget matters. So after you vote today to approve the tentative balanced budget and we go to publish, I just want to emphasize again that at this point in the process, myself and HR and IT, it pretty much takes us a good month to implement a lot of the wage changes here. That would be fixing steps, the new matrix for patrol, steps on anniversary dates. I have to go in and manually cut the funding on all the open positions that have been open longer than 100 days, changing the elected officials' wages, and then the COLA. So all of that takes quite a bit of work to implement in our system between payroll, HR, and IT. So we're going to start working on those after the budget is published. So I'm just putting that out there. Hopefully there will be no changes from you all regarding those items in the 11th hour. That would be pretty much impossible to accommodate. And then Sylvia had some stuff.
Sylvia Proud for the record. Just real quick, logistically in a process, in the past what we have done is get permission from the board to start sharing those schedules by employee with each department and elected official. We haven't done that yet. The one step we had done was asking the department heads to confirm their current step date, that's the date they went into their position. So we're ready with the schedules that have been put together to share and column draft and proposed until final budget approval to let them see what that looks like for each of their employees. So I'm asking for some direction from the board if you're comfortable with us doing that or if you want us to hold off a little bit longer.
Okay, Bill?
I would just as soon do it. Fortunately, we're not having bad news. If we're bad news, I'd say wait a little bit.
Sure.
But no.
As long as you're comfortable that what you put together is correct, accurate, no issues, then I say go ahead and put it on.
Yes. Okay, and then the other item would be, in the past, the board has put some performance measures around getting like a bonus of so forth, and so typically we would do that with step anniversary, with the step on an anniversary date. The goal is there's some performance measures for the sheriff's matrix that they want to bring forward for the board's review and approval, and HR will have something for the board to look at for the general pay plans, chief deputies, and attorneys, and we would like to do that on August 17th with the board at an HR meeting.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions on that?
Not at this point.
Okay.
I mean, obviously people are working in good faith and we expect to see something that makes sense.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, are there any other further discussions or changes you wanted to make before approving this for publication?
Bill, did you have anything?
Well, adding and subtracting at this point, if it has to happen, when should that happen?
Oh, making cuts. So after we publish, we are not allowed to increase expenses at all. So if there's anything that you want to add, you need to do it today.
Today?
Yep, and then after we publish, we are not allowed to increase our property tax amount. which we're publishing at a 3% increase, so that shouldn't be an issue. But in terms, we are not allowed to increase our expenses afterwards. We can still make cuts, but we can't make any additions.
Because the only thing, and this is Johnny come lately, that I've talked to some people at the sheriff's department, and that's in the garage, if you will.
The mechanic position.
Yeah,
Funding that I've heard, they want to fund it at 100%.
come and talk to us.
Good morning, Commissioners. Captain Andy Deek for the record. When we first deliberated on the personnel, we did put in a full-year request for the mechanic position. The direction at the time was to fund it for 6 months of the year. Following that meeting, I've had discussions with the staff at the auto shop, and they're asking for a second look at that. Two reasons. I found out too that we are revenue rich at this point. It would be nice to honor that request. There's several things that go into that request. One, it's a $27,000 request to make it whole for the year, according to the auditors. Many reasons relate to that. Mostly is the ongoing workload. First, we haven't asked for a mechanic for more than 20 years. The fleet has increased. We are doing roughly 1,500 repairs a year annually in the shop. That's fabrications and repairs, and that's countywide. And they are, in addition to doing the repairs, they're also responsible for obviously ordering the supplies from vendors, outsourcing some vehicles that they can't repair, tracking those repairs, coordinating with those repair shops. With the purchase of the new patrol fleet, there's going to be installs of radios, computer equipment, as well as the deconstruction of vehicles for the fleet management trickle-down program. And that averages roughly about a week per car on those deconstructions. Lastly, they're required to do the surplus and auction, as you know, for older vehicles, and prepare to do the deconstruction, coordinate the resolutions, and get those vehicles to auction as well. The other thing we've ran into significantly in the last couple of years is the shift relief that's needed for FMLA, sick events, vacations. A lot of these guys are struggling to get through the vacation that they accrue with the workload that's there. They all feel responsible to help one another out, obviously. And the very last item is succession planning. We, as young and vibrant as they act, they're aging, and some of them are closer to that retirement age. So with your approval, we'd really appreciate that.
Okay. Bill?
27,000 and change.
Yes, ma'am.
And Bruce.
I would agree with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and given the fact that they have to go through the same background check.
I think you have to flip your. Yeah.
There's two buttons. Given the fact they have to go through a background check, and it's a little bit harder to find people who can do the job and pass the background, I don't have a problem with it. If that's what you need, my hope is that as time goes by, we can start to develop more metrics within the organization, so we have good measurables, so that we know through reports, as opposed to anecdotally, we need people, but the reports say that, the workload has gone up, and this is how much a person does.
So Brandy, you'll just reduce the mid-year change pool?
Yep, it'll reduce it to $393,140.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
And then
I
Bruce?
had one other thing.
Okay.
Since we agreed with the North Idaho Museum to fund it with $10,000, I've had some conversations with folks, and I think I'd like to go with revise that number to where Commissioner Duncan was with $20,000 for it. I think that would help. I've learned that not only are they preserving some of our historical documents, but it's also a resource for judges, attorneys, landowners, things like that. And so I think that we should increase that funding from $10,000 to $20,000.
Yeah, and of course, I agree. It's just if the treasurer's giving them more work to do, why would we cut their funding? So,
Well, these are things that I'm learning every day, even
no.
this morning, and this is just one of the challenges of being new in this position, is just trying to differentiate, especially outside organizations that we're giving money to that are not state mandated
Right.
versus outside organizations that actually play a significant and important role or a vital role in,
yeah.
you
But I
know.
mean, that's what I learned new this year, was the treasurer was now giving them things to do. So
Yeah.
otherwise I would have supported the
Yeah.
10,000.
Yep, so, okay.
So we're good. Bill?
20 is
Okay.
good.
All right, and so,
Okay, it'll just reduce that pool down to 383, 140.
okay. All right. I don't have anything else at this point, except what I've already mentioned in many, many meetings. So, if that's all, then,
That's all I have unless there's anything else you wanted to discuss.
yep. I'll save it for
I
the
was-
hearing.
I
Go
was
ahead,
at the
Bill.
Veterans Council last night, and they represent approximately 30 different veterans groups. And they were keenly aware that we were going to help them more with a veteran service officer position. I said, it's not done yet.
Soon.
But they were very appreciative.
Okay. All right, then with that, I would take a motion to accept the preliminary budget for publication, including the changes that we've made this morning.
I move that we accept the preliminary balanced budget to be published in the Coeur d'Alene Press.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Matari,
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, public comment. I don't see any members of the public here. Anybody online, Jonathan? Okay. 11:12, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
And Brandy, just as an aside, what's the